Hi everyone, I'm Cynthia Patnaud, sexologist and youth program coordinator for the Missing Children's Network. In this video, we will address healthy relationship because it's a really important component of protection regarding sexual exploitation. You have to know what is a healthy relationship and what is a unhealthy relationship. So let's start now by identifying what is an unhealthy relationship. So it's a relationship that is tainted with disrespect, violence. It can be physical, it can be verbal, psychological, sexual, financial, but all act of violence towards the other person is an unhealthy relationship. There's also control, manipulating the person, trying to control who they are hanging out with, who they're talking to, what they're wearing before they leave home, how they spend their money. Can also be forcing them to have sexual relationships or intercourses just to try to solve a problem, let's say for an example. So it's important to be aware of that also. In order to better identify what is an unhealthy relationship, I've asked Jacinthe, who's actually a counselor at the West Island Women's Shelter, and she'll be giving us some tips to know how to recognize that maybe our child is in an unhealthy relationship. So I'll see you right after.
Hi, and first of all, thank you for having real interest in your kids' well-being. As a counselor from the West Island Women's Shelter, I unfortunately encounter dynamics of unhealthy relationships, and today I'll give you some example that might apply to our youth relationships so you can identify if your kid is stuck into an unhealthy one. First, you might observe significant changes in their behavior, such in the fashion style, music they listen to, or even in their eating habit. What about sports and hobbies they used to practice? Do they lose any interest for it now? And what about the circle of friends? It might have completely disappeared or being replaced by the new partner's entourage. Do you have the impression that your teen is always excusing and justifying the new partner's behavior? You might hear something like, excuses because he loves her so much, such as he loves me so much, this is why he's jealous, so I just talk with other boys at school and I fixed it, it's better now. Or he loves me so much, it makes me feel like a true princess and he gives me gifts every day. A generosity that you might question coming from a teenager. You know, it's very common that our youth are always on social media and stuff, but if you have the impression that your teen's receiving massive SMS and you observe the rush to answer back or discomfort, or if you ask to put that phone away, you see anxiety in the eyes, that might be more harassment than mutual exchanges. Long story short, love's supposed to make us feel special and bring the best out of us and motivate us. If you have the impression that you do not recognize your child anymore, you have the right to be concerned and ask questions about the nature of that relationship.
Thank you, Jacinthe, for this explanation. So I just want to say before we continue that it's important to acknowledge that we address a lot women or a girl as victim, but we also have to remember that guys, men, boys are also victims of domestic violence. So I just want to make sure that we acknowledge that because it's important, and unfortunately in our society it's still taboo to talk about it, and there's not a lot of resources for men out there. So it's just important that when we are talking about victim, we don't genderize who is victim as women or men. So anybody can be a victim of domestic violence, and this is why it's so important to learn to know what is a healthy relationship. Now, what is a healthy relationship? It's based actually on 3 components: respect, communication, and equality. So everybody is respected in this relationship. All the partners are important. There's nobody who's more important than the other. We communicate, so we are able to speak up if there's something wrong. If we appreciate something or if we dislike something, it's important to do it, to inform the other person in respect that we don't like what they're doing, or we don't feel comfortable with them or what they're doing or what they're saying. So it's just a matter of reminding ourselves that everybody deserves to be loved, and we don't have to give something in return. Love is free and it should be equal for everybody. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, and don't forget to subscribe to our new channel. I will see you on the next video.